Days after Sanjay Kapoor's death, his mother Rani Kapoor alleges foul play and coercion, seeks deferment of the company's AGM. Major power struggle erupts in Sona Group. Amid escalating tensions between Thailand and Cambodia, India's Ministry of External Affairs issues advisory, urges all Indian travellers to check updates before travelling to at least 7 border provinces. After breaking Rahul Dravid's record for the most test catches in the series, England star Joe Root now goes past Dravid on an all-time run-getter list. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Maldives. It's part of his 2-day state visit. Upon landing in Malé, the Prime Minister received a warm welcome. The protocol was broken. President Murmu was there to receive him, the entire cabinet on the tarmac as well. But these are visuals now coming in from Malé of the restricted talks that were held between the two world leaders, President Murmu and Prime Minister Modi, flanked by their entire delegation there. Bilateral talks are being held between the two leaders. These are delegation-level talks. As you see, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, NSA Doval is also present along with the entire Indian delegation. Several memorandums of understanding are going to be signed between the two countries. India is also lending aid in key infrastructure projects, some of which will be inaugurated by the Prime Minister during the course of this particular visit. Aman is joining us live from Malé. He's been getting us all the inputs of what the Prime Minister is doing. These are visuals that we are showing to our viewers, Aman, of the delegation level talks that took place between the two sides. We are expecting a joint statement shortly.
Yes, Poonam, the restricted meeting between Mr. Modi and Mr. Murmu has ended about 15 minutes back, and now these are the delegation level talks which are happening between both sides. This will be followed by a joint statement, press statements being issued from both sides, as well as the inauguration of several key infrastructure projects. And that will be done jointly by Prime Minister Modi and President Murmu. And these are projects, Poonam, which have been built in Maldives with the aid given by India. The most important being the Defense Ministry building of Maldives, which was started in the tenure, in fact, of the former Malé government and has been completed now. There's a huge poster of Mr. Narendra Modi, which has been put on that building, and it is going to be inaugurated virtually by both the Prime Minister Modi as well as President Murmu. Other key MOUs are also expected to be signed. We'll wait for the Foreign Secretary's briefing maybe in an hour from now to give us more details. But what is being talked about and speculated is that an agreement, a free trade agreement between both sides may be finalized today. Also, a fresh credit line to Maldives could be activated by India. This is going to be extremely significant because Maldives needs this money and these finances very, very crucially. And also, a big takeaway could be if Maldives decides to accept UPI. And this is what India has been pushing with many countries, and Maldives, with them, the discussions have been on. Because if UPI is accepted by Maldives, this could lead to a big fillip in tourism from India. It could make things easier, for tourists. Like I came here and I had to use dollars. So, if UPI is used in Maldives, you won't need to trade for dollars or Maldivian currency even, and Indian tourists would have it very easy. That is also the aim of Maldives, to bring back Indian tourists in big numbers to Maldives. So in about an hour from now, Poonam, when the Foreign Secretary briefs us, he'll be telling us which are the big agreements, the big MOUs which have been signed between both sides to take the India-Maldives strategic relationship to the next higher level.
Aman, now that restricted meeting is over and these are delegation level talks that are currently underway is what we're learning. Are we expecting a joint statement from Prime Minister Modi and President Murmu after these talks?
Well, it is likely that both leaders could speak. That is what we are being told. So we'll await, what exactly the format the government wants to make the announcements with. But if there are, virtual inauguration of projects, as we believe there will be, both leaders will be present. And interestingly, Poonam, what India has also been pressing on in these talks and earlier also with Maldives, that Maldives will go a great deal in, making this relationship stronger if Maldives issues a very, very strong condemnation of the Pahalgam terror attack and throws its weight behind India when it comes to Operation Sindoor. So this is something that India is looking forward to Maldives doing it. It's an Islamic state here. Maldives is an Islamic country. So it could be very, very significant because India has repeatedly said that there can be no double standards when it comes to global international terrorism, especially emanating from across the border from Pakistan and affecting India. And India will really look for Maldives to back India on this particular point. And we have seen Mr. Jaishankar, in fact, securing statements from other countries, other international bodies when it comes to Pahalgam. So India would definitely look forward to that as well. Let's see what both the leaders have to say in just about 45 minutes from now.
Right, Aman, do stay on with us. There are several engagements of the Prime Minister post this as well, including the participation in Maldives' 60th Independence Day tomorrow. But what is at stake as far as both countries are concerned? Strategic cooperation in the defense sector is being looked at. And Aman, in fact, did speak with the former Defense Minister of Maldives, Maria Ahmed Didi, on this expanding strategic relationship between the two countries. Listen in.
It's a very momentous trip. As you know, since this government came into power, we haven't seen much contact between the two neighbors. We have always had an India first policy, and we've had that not only because you are the largest neighbor or you have ever employed any expansionist sort of policies or bullying tactics. We've had because it is for the mutual interest for both our countries to keep our relationship as we've had it historically alive. As you know, history, geography, culture, cuisine, race, political ideology, democracy, upholding human rights, these are very common ideals we hold dear to both our nations. And in addition, you would see that our strategic vision being having peace and stability in the region and open and free Indian Ocean are things that we share together. Our security interests like IUU fishing as per our interests, us being a maritime nation, seafaring nation, and also terrorism and all these things, we share so much things together.
Mr. Modi's visits are not just about protocol and pomp. It's very much about substantive results. So I expect that there would be more than one occasions for detailed discussions with the Maldivian leadership. There would be interactions with the business community, the intellectual community, the diaspora, and other dignitaries of the government. The result would be that perhaps some new agreements may be signed. There would be closer coordination on global and regional issues. Particularly, I expect that Maldives would come out strongly in terms of combating international terrorism and extending full support to what happened to India in Pahalgam and thereafter. And I think I also expect that Maldives may convey that there is much scope and hope in regional cooperation. So we can talk about that as well.
Yes, sir. Also, the Foreign Secretary has spoken about UPI being adopted by Maldives, probably the free trade agreement which has been in the works, discussions around that. So there seem to be a lot of deliverables on the table once the Prime Minister is there, and as well as regional cooperation. It's very important because Maldives is an important partner in that regard as well for many, many years.
Undoubtedly, economic and trade cooperation is significant. It's a really one-sided relationship. Out of over about $600 million of trade, most of it comprises India's exports to Maldives. So India is a major supplier of goods ranging from sand to cement to steel to consumer goods to vegetables. So Maldives regard this as very, very important. And then development cooperation has been very extensive in terms of our helping the development of human resource material and resources in Maldives. Then on top of that, defense cooperation is very important. India has been helping over a long period the police authorities, the security authorities, the defense and the navy, etc. of Maldives. And then you rightly mentioned about the Colombo security dialogue, security cooperation in the Indian Ocean. So I expect that there would be some further development in that as well. But most importantly, I think without referring to a particular country, with which there is undoubtedly geopolitical competition in and around Maldives, the visit itself, I expect, will convey the signal that India remains one of the most important strategic partners of Maldives. That is the message.
Shifting focus back home now, amid continuous disruptions in the parliament over opposition's demand on a special provision debate on Operation Sindoor, the government has now said that it will hold this discussion beginning Monday. 16 hours have been allocated in both houses of parliament. Kiren Rijiju, Union Parliamentary Affairs Minister, has requested that all parties, all opposition MPs cooperate. The stalemate over opposition's demands for discussion on issues being raised by it was broken earlier today following an all-party meeting held by the Lok Sabha Speaker. Kiren Rijiju said that despite the government trying to hold a discussion on India's response to the Pahalgam attack via Operation Sindoor, opposition leaders have been creating a ruckus inside Parliament and not letting the House function. Sources have also told CNN News 18 that top ministers will be leading the debate. The source further said that a total of 32 hours, 16 like I said in each house, have been allocated. There's an intervention from the Prime Minister that's also likely during this debate.
और कई मुद्दे हैं अलग अलग पार्टियों ने रखा है, तो मैं उसको जवाब दिया है कि पहले हम ऑपरेशन सिंदूर पे चर्चा करेंगे। ये ऑपोजिशन पार्टी का ही मांग था, सरकार ने एग्री पहले दिन से किया है, तो ऑपरेशन सिंदूर पे चर्चा पूरा करने के बाद अगले विषय क्या लेंगे उसका हम बाद में तय करेंगे। मंडे से लोकसभा में 16 आवर्स 16 घंटे के लिए ऑपरेशन सिंदूर पर चर्चा होगी और ट्यूसडे को राज्यसभा में फिर 16 घंटे के लिए ऑपरेशन सिंदूर पर चर्चा होगी। तो ये आज बीएससी में तय किया गया है।
Pallavi now joins us, getting us more inputs on this. Pallavi, there's an appeal coming in from the Treasury benches from the Union Parliamentary Affairs Minister that the House should function at least Monday, Tuesday when we have that marathon debate on Operation Sindoor in both houses. Hopefully, there is no ruckus pandemonium inside and it goes on smoothly.
And that is the reason why the reach out has been happening. I mean, we saw earlier in the day the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, for example, meeting up with the two LOPs and an all-party meeting which was also held. And we also saw the press conference from the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, Mr. Kiren Rijiju, and essentially also lamenting the fact that the first week of Parliament session was a complete washout. And they are hoping that at least the Operation Sindoor discussion, which is something which everyone feels very strongly about, would happen and would go smoothly. So 16 hours, which has been allotted for each houses, which obviously is going to spill over to a longer period, Poonam. But more importantly, it could last for 3 to 4 days. And while the opposition is insisting that SIR is an equally and perhaps even more issue which needs to be discussed, there is a hope from the government side and a reassurance from the opposition that the Operation Sindoor debate will happen and will be done in an amicable manner.
Right, so there was a certain provision under which the opposition wanted this particular debate to take place. That's something that the government seems to have agreed on, which is why the deadlock has been broken after Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla held that meeting. But there's also a growing demand for the Prime Minister to intervene. So that's something that we are expecting as well.
That's a call which, frankly speaking, the government has not yet been very open about. The indications are that a PM is expected to intervene. But again, within this, there is a division within the opposition. There are many who are upset with the Congress's insistence on the PM speaking because they feel that, the Prime Minister, if he speaks, is actually going to silence his critics because, one, of course, he's a very good orator, and second, on Operation Sindoor, he's going to come out with facts and statistics to counter the Congress's own track record when it comes to fighting against terrorism. So many felt that, it had been a more prudent strategy if the PM is made to sit in the House and he listens to what the opposition parties have to say, which is going to be a two-pronged attack. One, how much of merit is there in the claims by Donald Trump that he brokered the ceasefire between India and Pakistan? And second, over 2 to 3 months, and yet the Pahalgam terror attack terrorists have not yet been nabbed, and that it is unsafe and it's something which could threaten the entire national security fabric. And why is it the government not admitting that it was an intelligence failure?
Right, Pallavi, thank you so much for getting us the latest. Now, Prime Minister Modi has crossed yet another political milestone. He's overtaken Indira Gandhi to become India's second longest serving Prime Minister in a single uninterrupted term. Today marks this chapter in Prime Minister Modi's political journey. Remember, he began his journey as Gujarat's Chief Minister in 2001. Prime Minister Modi has now headed elected governments both at the state and at the central level for nearly 24 years, a feat that's unmatched by any other Indian Prime Minister. In fact, Union Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal, in an exclusive conversation with CNN News 18, praised Prime Minister Modi for achieving this feat, calling him a true statesman and a visionary.
As we speak, we are into the 25th of July in Bharat. And technically, Prime Minister Narendra Modi becomes the second longest continuous term serving Prime Minister after Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So he eclipses Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. Your thoughts on his leadership and how much of a difference his leadership has made in Bharat, also straightening equations with politically adverse leaders, nations. Maldives, he's in Maldives right now. The Labour was against a trade deal in the first place in Britain. Now they've signed the trade deal. You see how Canada has turned around with Mark Carney. So Maldives, yes, Maldives, Sri Lanka, yeah. So
Prime
your
Minister
thoughts?
Modi is truly a statesman, a visionary, a very sensitive human being, caring, concerned about smaller countries, the global south, the less developed countries. And more importantly than anything else, he's a good human being. He has completed his term so far as the second longest serving, but this is only the beginning. He has a lot of ambition, a lot of dreams for our country. He wants to make this country the most consequential and most important country. And the people of India deserve a better life, a better future, which Prime Minister Modi is committed to giving. So he is going to become the longest serving Prime Minister in this country. He has miles to go. He has huge aspirations for the country. He's committed to working the way he usually does to strengthen our relations across the world. He's received 27 international honors.
Yes.
I don't know of a parallel anywhere in the world of that kind of respect and adulation. He's been the most popular leader for the last 11 years across the world. Undisputedly, a person who is shaping the destiny of 140 crore Indians. And that destiny under his leadership is going to be great.
Moving on now, the Indian government is all set to mark 26 years of Kargil Vijay Divas. Preparations are underway at the Kargil War Memorial in Dras. Established in the year 2000, this memorial stands as a lasting tribute to over 500 Indian soldiers who perished in the high-altitude conflict against Pakistani intruders. My colleagues get us these ground reports.
We already know that UAVs, drones and unarmed aerial vehicles and robotic dogs are the future of the army and defense. And to showcase and represent to us that how these drones work, including large ones, including smaller ones, quadcopters, UAVs, this drone show is being held at the Kargil, near the Kargil War Memorial, to commemorate the Kargil Vijay Divas and also to showcase that how the operational capabilities of our armed forces has gone up. You see different kind of drones are on offer, and post Operation Sindoor we witnessed that how different kind of drones were used by India to ensure that the targeting of the enemy assets is done. And we also saw Pakistani drones also come close to land of control. You'll also see there the army personnel, those fast UAVs going up in the air, those quadcopters, and you will notice them, they're wearing the specialized goggles to ensure that the vision is kept intact and they don't lose a sight of the drone. Look at how they are moving. Look at that. Look at how drone close is moving to this balloon, and now he will try to blast this balloon using its force. It's now see that you saw that blast, and this is how fast a drone is moving. This is the enemy presenting enemy. It has already demolished one, and now you will notice that this drone which is going on at a faster pace. Now look at that, another one has been blasted and blown. I hope we have got some visuals of that, but you will see that these army drones, including quadcopters, small fast drones, are at showcasing their skills and are showcasing how fast they can move. You saw that it zipped past us very fast, and it can just demolish an enemy. And that's why you're seeing that these drones are in action today. What you're seeing on your screens is an MR-20 drone. It's a hexacopter and can take up to 20 kgs of payload in high altitude areas and rough terrain where you extremely need to carry rifles, any kind of payload, and even the explosives can be hanged to it and then later on dropped on the enemy's position. For the first time during Operation Sindoor, India realized that how important the drone warfare was, and it was operational ready to deal and go into enemy territory to ensure that drones like these are able to hit those targets with precision. You will notice this drone is heavily capable, and this is all made in India. Remember, it's another drone which is used for surveillance and used to monitor any enemy movement and to ensure that they are able to pinpoint any enemy moving towards in the high altitude areas. But this drone, MR-20, displayed carrying an 6-saw rifle, and also they carried ammunition with them. But you also notice here there are other kinds of quadcopters present also, which have different capabilities, and you also have a robotic mule which can carry any payload to a difficult situation, to a mountainous area, to an area where there can be an encounter, and it can safely save the lives of people and the armed forces. You can see that it has what we call as an ammunition loaded on it. It can be ammunition that we use to load in Bofors or any other equipment, and this is the capability that India is trying to display in Jammu and Kashmir, particularly also in the Kashmir and Ladakh region, where the drones, robotic mules have become an important part of the army's arsenal.
कारगिल विजय की 26वीं विजय दिवस देश मना रहा है, और विजय दिवस इसलिए कि जो नापाक इरादों से 1999 में जो धोखा दिया था पाकिस्तान ने, और हमारे वीर सैनिकों ने जो कमाल दिखाया, जो शौर्य दिखाया, जो पराक्रम दिखाया, आज देश को सैल्यूट कर रहा है। जो हमारे सैनिकों ने जो सर्वोच्च बलिदान किया, उसको देश सैल्यूट कर रहा है। और अभी तो ऑपरेशन सिंदूर, जिसकी गूंज हिंदुस्तान नहीं पूरी दुनिया में गूंज रही है कि इंडिजिनस सिस्टम से कुछ ही मिनटों के अंदर पाकिस्तान के मंसूबे को बर्बाद कर दिया गया, उनके आतंकवादी अड्डों को नष्ट कर दिया गया। यही आत्मनिर्भर भारत, यही इंडिजिनस सिस्टम, और प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी का हमेशा ये से रहा है कि आत्मनिर्भर भारत, आत्मनिर्भर रक्षा। और प्रधानमंत्री जी और हमारे आदरणीय रक्षा मंत्री राजनाथ सिंह जी के नेतृत्व में आज भारतीय सेना मजबूत हुई है। भारत अब इंपोर्टर नहीं रहा, अब एक्सपोर्टर है। दुनिया के 92 कंट्रीज को हम एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, और लगभग 23,622 करोड़ का रक्षा के अस्त्र शस्त्र भारत एक्सपोर्ट कर रहा है। नया भारत है, और यही नया भारत को पूरी दुनिया आज भारत की ओर देखे।
On that note, it's time for a quick break on this edition of Nation at 5, but news and updates continue on CNN News 18. Do stay tuned.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Text on these developments, but these are through top Indian intelligence sources. What this means, what the ramifications are for these regions in Pakistan. These are regions, remember, that are typically governed by the PTI, the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. We're going to bring you more context. Take a look at reactions, then we'll go over to reporters for more context.
पूरा पाकिस्तान जान गया था कि मेरे इन पे रिजर्वेशन हैं, और मैंने बाकायदा तौर पे इसके ऊपर बात की। मुझे किसी का खौफ नहीं है, मैं किसी के खौफ के बगैर ये बात पहले दिन से कर चुका हूं, और मैं दोबारा रिपीट कर रहा हूं कि उसके बाद हमने ऑपरेशन किए, हमने उनको इलाकों से खाली करवाया। आपने वो वीडियो देखी, वो वीडियो देखने के बाद दोबारा उन लोगों को लाया गया, दोबारा उन लोगों को जब पकड़ा गया तो हमारी ISI और हमारी MI ने उन लोगों को ऑन किया कि ये लोग हमारे लोग हैं, मेहरबानी करें, हम इनको इस्तेमाल करते हैं किसी भी काम के लिए, और उन्होंने पुलिस से उनको छुड़वाया। अब दोबारा वो लोग फिर ज्यादा हो चुके हैं। तो मेहरबानी करें, अपने वर्दी वाले बंदे से अपनी जंग लड़ें। गुड़ तालिबानों के जरिए जो आप उनको ओन करके जो जंग लड़ने की कोशिश आप कर रहे हैं, उससे आपके दरमियान और अवाम के दरमियान एतमाद खत्म हो रहा है। आपके दरमियान और मेरी पुलिस के दरमियान एतमाद खत्म हो रहा है। आपके दरमियान और मेरी हुकूमत, मेरी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के दरमियान एतमाद खत्म हो रहा है। गुड तालिबान आर नॉट एक्सेप्टेड। अगर आपको उनकी जरूरत है तो उनको फौज में भर्ती कर लो।
लॉयर ने उनसे पूछा कि आपकी तबीयत ठीक है, तो कहते हैं खान साहब जैसे कि हमेशा से कहते हैं कि मेरी तबीयत बिल्कुल ठीक है, लेकिन जो मेरे साथ टॉर्चर किया जा रहा है इसकी बात आप बाहर जाके जरूर करें कि ये कौन सा कानून है जिसके तहत ये हो रहा है। आगे उन्होंने उस पर वजाहत की। उन्होंने कहा इस वक्त पाकिस्तान में मार्शल लॉ नहीं है, इस वक्त पाकिस्तान में आसिम लॉ है, इस वक्त पाकिस्तान में 26वीं तरमीम लाई गई है जिसके तहत सिर्फ इमरान खान को इस अजियत में डालने के लिए, टॉर्चर करने के लिए उन्होंने जो जजेस लगाए, जिसमें काजी फाइजी सा, अमीनुद्दीन और सरफराज डोगर, ये 3 जज का मकसद ये था कि पार्टी खत्म करें और इमरान खान को खत्म करें। इंतजामिया जो गफूर अंजुम है सुपरिटेंडेंट, उन्होंने कहा फिर से कि जब से ये आदमी आया है गफूर अंजुम सुपरिटेंडेंट, तब से मेरे ऊपर जुल्म बहुत बढ़ गया है, बहुत ज्यादा जुल्म जो कर रहा है इसकी मौजूदगी में इसके हाथों से करवाया जा रहा है, इसकी सरबराही में किया जा रहा है।
Okay, let's go over to Colonel Rohit Dev to understand more. He's a senior defense expert and he joins us live on this show. Colonel Dev, a few different accusations that have been made over here and I want to go to each one separately. So Colonel Dev, let's just talk with, first let's start with what it is that the Chief Minister in this region, he is the Chief Minister in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa region. This is Ali Amin. We played out his bite, what he had to say for our audience. Colonel Dev, just explain what he said to our audience, because in his bite, in his comment, Ali Amin is making a very, very important point. He's essentially saying that central organizations in Pakistan are supporting local militants and therefore coming in the way of local efforts to secure the area. They're calling certain militants, quote, good Taliban. What does that mean? Break it down for us.
Right. So apparently it's in sync with what Pakistan is doing. So the allegation primarily is that ISI is creating this kind of an unrest through militia there,
right.
Which has been a fact because the ISI has been meddling in that affairs for a long time. And whatever inhuman treatments have been meted out to these citizens as well has always been orchestrated through the ISI channels and the army of Pakistan. The other allegation which he is alluding to is also the collusion between ISI and some foreign intelligence agencies, which again is in sync with what the minister from Pakistan spoke 2 months back when he was speaking to a foreign media and when he was trying to boast that how Pakistan was the vassal state carrying out the nefarious designs of the Western powers, especially in the region of northwest, northern part of Pakistan, Afghanistan, and such like areas. So I think that is the first part. That it's just a sort of a public speech given, which calls out the ISI, which calls out the collusivity of ISI and the army, and also hints at the collusion of foreign intelligence. So I think that is a big thing which he's saying, because this entire thing is under the boil, and you have seen how the reactions are happening, even in the aspect of Balochistan. And you can appreciate in 1990s, late 1990s, Pakistan used to use gunships against civilians. And you just saw a video, I think, a couple of days back, when they were brutally shooting at children in some valley. That video had come out. It was also there on the social media as well, duly verified. So I think these kind of claims only give a voice to the international committee to take note of this. Apparently, people don't take note because it's not affecting their own, happiness back in West or Europe. I think it's a very pertinent point for the human rights wings and for the United Nations to take these things at their face value, collate more information, and be able to call out Pakistan. Because at one hand, Pakistan, is misusing the UN platform to voice opinions. They have tried to seek something on Kashmir with US unilaterally. I don't think so. Pakistan is in any way a state which cannot be described but as a terrorist state. And
Welcome back. You're watching Nation at 5. After Congress's criticism of the Bihar Special Intensive Revision, Rahul Gandhi has now alleged voter theft in Karnataka and Maharashtra, to which the Election Commission has responded and pointed that the Congress has failed to act on any of these alleged discrepancies in voter lists in more than 90,000 booths. The poll body has alleged that despite being given a list on the 20th of July, no corrective actions or pleas have been taken for the dead, shifted or absentee voters. Meanwhile, Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar has backed Rahul Gandhi's concerns about alleged voter mismanagement during the Lok Sabha elections in Karnataka last year.
52 लाख की बात नहीं है, सिर्फ बिहार की बात नहीं है। महाराष्ट्र में इन्होंने चीटिंग की। हमने सवाल पूछे इलेक्शन कमीशन से, वोटर लिस्ट दिखाइए। इन्होंने वोटर लिस्ट नहीं दिखाई। हमने कहा कि वीडियोग्राफी दिखा दीजिए, वीडियोग्राफी का कानून बदल दिया। कर्नाटक में हमने भयंकर चोरी पकड़ी है। मैं ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट में आपको दिखाऊंगा, इलेक्शन कमीशन को दिखाऊंगा, ठीक है, ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट में कि कैसे चोरी की जाती है, कहाँ की जाती है। हमने पूरी की पूरी वोटर लिस्ट ली, उसको डिजिटल फॉर्मेट किया। 6 महीने लगे हमने, मगर हमने सारा का सारा मतलब इनका सिस्टम निकाल दिया। और अब इन्होंने क्या किया है कि अब हम बिहार का पूरा सिस्टम नए तरीके से करेंगे, वोटर डिलीट करेंगे और नए तरीके से वोटर लिस्ट लाएंगे। हिंदुस्तान में इलेक्शन चोरी किए जा रहे हैं।
Of course, I fully endorse the statement of Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi has made a big research. My research team in the Congress party has just come out very well. Even in Bangalore also, I have gone through the entire election process. And we had a case study in Madhepura, especially in Madhepura. And we know that. But the Election Commission is not hearing our voice or not trying to rectify things. So I fully endorse his views. We will have to fight it out.
Daily, Rahul Gandhi comes out with one state or the other. He is into destructive politics. He has become desperate. He is insulting the voters of Karnataka, number one. Number two, his own very government, Siddaramaiah government was there when Lok Sabha elections were held and roles were revised. It is his own officers, his own deputy commissioners, his own assistant commissioners. They were in helm of affairs. Do you mean to say that Siddaramaiah government officers will help BJP? What nonsense is going on? And it is only politicizing this thing and to destroy all the credible institutions which have really made India as a successful largest democracy.
Arunima now joins us, getting us more details on this. Arunima, there are two aspects. One, of course, is of the Bihar SIR exercise and the other is of the voter theft claims that Rahul Gandhi and the Congress seems to be doubling down on. On both fronts, the Election Commission has come out and clarified, but still, for some reason, those questions arise.
Yes, as far as the Bihar SIR exercise is concerned, it has been a bone of contention right from the first day. But now the exercise is almost in its last leg now. And the data that has been released is that there are 22 lakh deceased electors that have been found and 35 lakh have been found to be people who have either migrated or who could not be traced. 7 lakh voters have duplicate epics. So if you see total, almost about 70 lakh voters we are talking about here who have been declared eligible. So the draft rolls may not have about almost close to 70 lakh voters. While the Election Commission of India says that these are people who are either no more or they can't be traced, Congress Party and RJD are making allegations that these are marginalized people who are being deliberately left out. EC is countering to say that if that is what RJD and Congress believes, why don't they help these people come up with their document? From 1st of August onwards, there will be a 1-month period where they can do so. From Maharashtra and Karnataka, EC's counter is that under the Representation of People's Act, there are specific provisions. If you feel there is a problem with the voter list, you can appeal. If you feel there's a problem with the way election has been conducted, you can again appeal. And EC is pointing out to say that no such appeal has been filed by Congress Party. So why make a hue and cry before the media now?
To which there are no answers from the Congress Party. We will keep our eyes out on that though. For the moment, Arunima, thank you so much for getting us the latest. Speaking of the Congress party and Rahul Gandhi, he's once again attacked the central government, this time over caste census. He says that it was his mistake in his political career of 21 years, which is not protecting the interests of the other backward classes section as much as he should have done. Addressing a Bhagidari Nyay Sammelan of the OBCs at the Talkatore Stadium here in the national capital, Leader of Opposition in the Lok Sabha said that the caste census in Telangana is a political earthquake that will cause a huge aftershock. The BJP, meanwhile, has hit back in its scathing attack against Rahul Gandhi. The Saffron Party has said that they, in fact, have uplifted the OBCs. The BJP even questioned previous Congress governments, asking how many bureaucrats and union ministers were from the OBC section during the Congress's era.
अब मैं 2004 से राजनीति कर रहा हूं और 21 साल हो गए। तो एक चीज में कांग्रेस पार्टी में और मेरे अंदर भी एक चीज मैंने मिस कर दी, एक गलती मैंने की। क्या थी? जो ओबीसी वर्ग है उसका जिस प्रकार से मुझे प्रोटेक्शन करना था मैंने नहीं किया। आपकी जो इश्यूज थी उस समय मुझे गहराई से नहीं समझ आई, मैं स्टेज से कह देता हूं, और इस गलती को मैं ठीक करने जा रहा हूं।
इसलिए मैं साफ बात कहना चाहता हूं, कांग्रेस एक मुखौटा लगाकर खड़ी है। इस मुखौटे के पीछे का असली सच यह है कि बाबा साहब अंबेडकर ने जो पिछड़ों और एससी को आरक्षण का अधिकार दिया था, उस इबारतें बाबा साहब अंबेडकर को इस मुखौटे की आड़ में ये इमारतें शरिया में तब्दील करना चाह रहे हैं। मैं पुनः अपनी बात को रिपीट करता हूं, श्री राहुल गांधी जी अपने पिताजी के कार्यकाल के एससी, एसटी, ओबीसी, आईएएस अधिकारियों की संख्या बताएं। मनमोहन सिंह जी और सोनिया जी के कार्यकाल में 2004 से 9 के बीच में कितने यूनिवर्सिटी में असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर, एसोसिएट प्रोफेसर थे, उनकी संख्या बताएं। और अब ये बताएं कि मुस्लिम समाज की कितनी जातियों को उन्होंने ओबीसी में इंक्लूड क्यों करवाया है और इसके द्वारा वो किसके हक के ऊपर डाका डालने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं। धन्यवाद।
My colleague Pallavi Ghosh joins us, getting us more perspective on this. Pallavi, we heard what both sides had to say, but the interesting comment from Rahul Gandhi was also that it opened up space for the BJP to tap into this particular vote bank, and that's exactly what the BJP is highlighting, that we've not just made promises, but also walked the talk.
Yes, absolutely, and right, walk the talk from the top, which is the OBC Prime Minister, but also the point, as I said, I mean, Rahul Gandhi's admission in his words are something which could actually put his party into a bit of a spot and give yet another ammunition to the BJP, where the BJP will say that, look, this is exactly what we have been pointing out. Rahul Gandhi himself admitting that they haven't done enough for the OBCs, but today, because the elections coming up in Bihar and later, of course, for 2029 and many other state elections coming up, this sudden love for the OBCs and Dalits is only because they are targeting at this important vote bank. Now, within the Congress party, Poonam, the strategy is very simple, that having lost out and attempted to win over the Hindutva vote card, they haven't been able to do so. So what they're trying to do is a minority vote bank plus the OBC and Dalit vote bank. That is what they're trying to target. But it could be a failed exercise. Will Rahul Gandhi's latest words of admission make it even more difficult for the Congress party to reach out this vote bank, which has been shifting away from the Congress?
That's something that we will have to watch out for. And come elections, that's something that will be clear. But Pallavi, thank you so much for getting us the latest. Shifting focus now, days after business tycoon Sanjay Kapoor, Sona Comstar's chief and ex-husband of Karishma Kapoor passed away in the United Kingdom, there is now a power struggle that seems to be brewing, a boardroom battle, if you will, within the company. Sanjay's mother and former Sona Group chairperson Rani Kapoor has now raised serious concerns, calling Sanjay Kapoor's death mysterious, alleging that she was forced to sign crucial documents without her consent. She has now sent a detailed letter to SEBI, also shared with shareholders of the company, adding a new twist to this corporate drama. Rani Kapoor has also requested the deferment of the company's annual general meeting, but we're given to understand that that is on track. She claims that there are some that are trying to usurp the family and the company's legacy. Meanwhile, top sources have revealed that Sona Comstar's annual general meeting has gone on as scheduled, and they will be talking and addressing about this letter as well.
what are the allegations in the letter per se?
So the letter that has been sent last night by Mrs. Rani Kapoor, as I've said, is quite self-explanatory. If you have seen that letter, it's saying that she has come across certain facts leading up to the death and immediately post the death, which has created grave apprehension in her mind. Also, she is yet to be formally intimated about the actual cause of the death. But most importantly, I think what the letter seems to be suggesting is that she seems to be she's made it clear that she's the head of the Sonag group. She's the head of the Kapoor family. The entire legacy had been bestowed upon her by her late husband, Shri Surinder Kapoor, who was the founder of the Sonag group. And today, attempts are being made to sideline her for people to show that they are representing the family or they are representing the Sonag group and come onto the board. So she's put it in the letter to say, with the facts the way they are unfolding, she's requested the board of directors and the shareholders not to proceed further with any appointments in the representative capacity of the Sonag group currently. And yes, she certainly has grave apprehensions of what has happened here.
Ananya, my colleague, joins us, getting us more details on this. Ananya, that letter has been sent to SEBI, to the shareholders of the company as well. She wanted the deferment of the AGM, but we're given to understand that has gone ahead. Any response from the other board members of the company itself to the concerns that she's raised?
Well, as far as the response from the other board members are concerned, it has not yet come across. However, what we've been told is that, in fact, the AGM happened, and in fact, a resolution, ordinary resolution, as far as the induction of Priya Sachdev as a member of the board was actually discussed as an ordinary resolution as far as things are concerned. But Rani Kapoor's letter too found reference in the annual general meeting. However, what happened to that and what happened to the resolution as far as the Priya Sachdev is concerned, that would be known only after a statement actually, or the minutes of the meeting of the annual general meeting actually comes out in open. So we'll get to know as to what happened as far as things are concerned with regards to the legacy and in fact the Colgan is concerned. But at this particular point of time, the Rani Kapoor's allegations are not only against the board, but also that her son died in mysterious circumstances. That is something, that is raising a lot of doubts as well, because she also goes on to say that, after Sanjay Kapoor's death, she'd been made to sign certain documents, and that, she was not even given a requisite time to do it. She's an 8-year-old lady, and this is something that is a kind of a conspiracy that is unfolding as far as the Sona group or the Sona group is concerned.
Right, Ananya, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that front. It is time for a quick break here on this edition of Nation at 5. But news and updates continue on CNN News 18. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Brought to you by... This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Text on these developments, but these are through top Indian intelligence sources. What this means, what the ramifications are for these regions in Pakistan. These are regions, remember, that are typically governed by the PTI, the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. We're going to bring you more context. Take a look at reactions, then we'll go over to reporters for more context.
पूरा पाकिस्तान जान गया था कि मेरे इन पे रिजर्वेशन हैं, और मैंने बाकायदा तौर पे इसके ऊपर बात की. मुझे किसी का खौफ नहीं है. मैं किसी के खौफ के बगैर ये बात पहले दिन से कर चुका हूं, और मैं दोबारा रिपीट कर रहा हूं कि उसके बाद हमने ऑपरेशन किए, हमने उनको इलाकों से खाली करवाया. आपने वो वीडियो देखी. वो वीडियो देखने के बाद दोबारा उन लोगों को लाया गया. दोबारा उन लोगों को जब पकड़ा गया तो हमारी ISI और हमारी MI ने उन लोगों को ऑन किया कि ये लोग हमारे लोग हैं, मेहरबानी करें, हम इनको इस्तेमाल करते हैं किसी भी काम के लिए, और उन्होंने पुलिस से उनको छुड़वाया. अब दोबारा वो लोग फिर ज्यादा हो चुके हैं, तो मेहरबानी करें, अपने वर्दी वाले बंदे से अपनी जंग लड़ें. गुड़ तालिबानों के जरिए जो आप उनको ओन करके जो जंग लड़ने की कोशिश आप कर रहे हैं, उससे आपके दरमियान और अवाम के दरमियान एतमाद खत्म हो रहा है. आपके दरमियान और मेरी पुलिस के दरमियान एतमाद खत्म हो रहा है. आपके दरमियान और मेरी हुकूमत, मेरी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के दरमियान एतमाद खत्म हो रहा है. गुड़ तालिबान आर नॉट एक्सेप्टेड. अगर आपको उनकी जरूरत है तो उनको फौज में भर्ती कर लो।
लॉयर ने उनसे पूछा कि आपकी तबीयत ठीक है, तो कहते हैं खान साहब जैसे कि हमेशा से कहते हैं कि मेरी तबीयत बिल्कुल ठीक है, लेकिन जो मेरे साथ टॉर्चर किया जा रहा है इसकी बात आप बाहर जाके जरूर करें कि ये कौन सा कानून है जिसके तहत ये हो रहा है। आगे उन्होंने उस पर वजाहत की। उन्होंने कहा इस वक्त पाकिस्तान में मार्शल लॉ नहीं है, इस वक्त पाकिस्तान में आसिम लॉ है, इस वक्त पाकिस्तान में 26वीं तरमीम लाई गई है जिसके तहत सिर्फ इमरान खान को इस अजियत में डालने के लिए, टॉर्चर करने के लिए उन्होंने जो जजेस लगाए, जिसमें काजी फाइजी सा, अमीनुद्दीन और सरफराज डोगर, ये 3 जज का मकसद ये था कि पार्टी खत्म करें और इमरान खान को खत्म करें। इंतजामिया जो गफूर अंजुम है सुपरिटेंडेंट, उन्होंने कहा फिर से कि जब से ये आदमी आया है गफूर अंजुम सुपरिटेंडेंट, तब से मेरे ऊपर जुल्म बहुत बढ़ गया है, बहुत ज्यादा जुल्म जो कर रहा है इसकी मौजूदगी में इसके हाथों से करवाया जा रहा है, इसकी सरबराही में किया जा रहा है।
Okay, let's go over to Colonel Rohit Dev to understand more. He's a senior defense expert and he joins us live on this show. Colonel Dev, a few different accusations that have been made over here, and I want to go to each one separately. So, Colonel Dev, let's just talk with, first, let's start with what it is that the Chief Minister in this region, he is the Chief Minister in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa region. This is Ali Amin. We played out his bite, what he had to say for our audience. Colonel Dev, just explain what he said to our audience, because in his bite, in his comment, Ali Amin is making a very, very important point. He's essentially saying that central organizations in Pakistan are supporting local militants and therefore coming in the way of local efforts to secure the area. They're calling certain militants, quote, good Taliban. What does that mean? Break it down for us.
Right. So apparently it's in sync with what Pakistan is doing. So the allegation primarily is that ISI is creating this kind of an unrest through militia there,
right.
Which has been a fact because the ISI has been meddling in that affairs for a long time. And whatever inhuman treatments have been meted out to these citizens as well has always been orchestrated through the ISI channels and the army of Pakistan. The other allegation which he is alluding to is also the collusion between ISI and some foreign intelligence agencies, which again is in sync with what the minister from Pakistan spoke 2 months back when he was speaking to a foreign media and when he was trying to boast that how Pakistan was...
Welcome back. We are getting live visuals from Malé in Maldives, where Prime Minister Modi currently is. Remember, there were delegation-level talks that are being held between both sides. These are visuals coming in of Prime Minister Modi with President Murmu.
Trust, friendship, and enduring partnership. Today marks a proud and defining moment in this journey of friendship, one that elevates India-Maldives relations to new heights through people-centric development. Backed by the Government of India and financed under the Exim Bank of India's line of credit, the 4,000 social housing units project in Malé Phase 2 stands as a symbol of this collaboration. Construction of the project began in 2021. Since then, key milestones have been achieved. Today, the project is complete and the majority of units are ready for handover.
Aman Sharma, my colleague, joins us now. He is in Malé getting us all the latest. Aman, we're given to understand this is the inauguration of several infrastructure projects that both the world leaders are partaking in, a lot of which has been built with aid from India.
Well, yes, there are a number of projects in Maldives, which have been built with the aid of India, and over the years, India has been investing a lot in this infrastructure in Maldives. The big project, which is being showcased also by Maldives, is the Ministry of Defense building in Malé, which has been built with Indian aid. And earlier pictures were shared by the Indian government. It showed a huge poster of Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the facade of that building, and that is why this is supposed to be a big project which is being inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Also, the new terminal building of the Malé International Airport is going to be inaugurated, and this is also a big project. It's a very prestigious project for Malé, and this is also expected to be unveiled tomorrow. So these are the major projects. We just await more details on which all projects are being spelled out, and these are all virtual inaugurations, and all these projects. India is also giving about 72 heavy vehicles to the Maldives Defense Ministry. So the defense cooperation with the Maldives is only increasing, and India is promising all it can for the defense forces. In fact, a lot of Maldivian defense personnel are being trained in India as well. That program is also on with great success. So all these matters, we are seeing the Prime Minister now, these agreements being signed between the both sides.
We are expecting a joint statement from those world leaders shortly as well. The Foreign Secretary will also be briefing the media in a short while from now, highlighting what these memorandums of understanding are that have been signed between the two countries. Isn't it, Taman?
Well, yes, and all these projects also, in fact, showcase. We have a list now of the announcements which have been made from both the sides, as we have been reporting since morning. The extension of the line of credit of nearly rupees 4,850 crores to Maldives. This is a big help to Maldives, which is facing a serious financial crunch. So the extension of line of credit of rupees 4,850 crores, also reduction of annual debt repayment obligations of Maldives on the Government of India funded a line of credit. Also very important is the launch of the India-Maldives free trade agreement negotiations. So the negotiations have started now for a free trade agreement between India and Maldives. This was also something that was hinted by the Foreign Secretary at the briefing before this visit began. Also the joint issuance of a commemorative stamp on the 60th anniversary of establishment of India-Maldives diplomatic relations. We are also seeing inauguration of 6 high-impact community development projects in Maldives, a roads and drainage system project in Adu City, as well as handing over of 3,300 social housing units in Malé under India's buyer credit facility. So all these major announcements are being made today as outcomes of the state visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Maldives.
Right, Aman, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that front. We are, of course, standing by for the joint statement coming through. But the Prime Minister, before heading to Maldives, was in the United Kingdom, and the historic FTA was signed between the two countries. Anand Narasimhan, my colleague, in fact, was in London. He spoke with the High Commissioner of India to the United Kingdom on a range of issues, from expanding economic ties with Britain to tackling extremism to bringing economic offenders to justice. Listen in to that exclusive conversation.
London is making headlines for some of the wrong reasons also, because a lot of Londoners, the millionaires, multimillionaires, are also moving out. They're decamping from London. So how are you going to, how's that going to affect Indian entrepreneurs, or perhaps not only bringing in wealth, creating wealth here?
Look, I think that's an issue, of course, for the government of the day in the UK to address. It's not for me to comment on their policies. But I will say this. I think if you look at the confidence about some of the strengths that London and the UK offers Indian businesses, there is confidence that quality Indian products get quality branding when they come here. They get recognized for quality. So there's a reason why, for instance, Indian brands like, say, Forest Essentials or Kama Ayurveda, when they've come here, they've opened up shops at premier places. Because from here, the branding value that they get is considerable. That doesn't mean they have to come and live here and become sort of tax entities. So, that, of course, is a subjective individual choice, and I won't comment on that. But I do believe that for Indian businesses, and they're voting in terms of their money, literally. More than 50% of Europe-bound investment from India comes to the UK. So that is familiarity with the legal system. That's familiarity with the way the market operates, common rules, common language, but also the branding value that they get out of doing this here. And the more the UK does to sort of manage its relationship with the EU, the more it sustains value for them, whether that's through Northern Ireland or now through Gibraltar also.
The other question is about extremist elements. We saw what happened the last time around, and you had a spirited rebuttal, and I still have those pictures, and we spoke over it quite often. But those elements continue to remain a threat, right? And they're also backed by those forces which are inimical. So how are we going to negate that here in London? Is the government more amenable to understanding that? I know that there is a agreement that's been signed between the CBI and the National Crime Agency here, which the Foreign Secretary was speaking about. So is that going to make a difference?
Look, first and foremost, your point that some of these groups are being backed by hostile states. frankly, I think we should be clear in our minds there isn't any difference between them. These guys who claim to be speaking for some sort of notional political entity of their own are actually.
Today, we have jointly released a commemorative stamp to mark the 60th anniversary of establishment of formal diplomatic relations between the Maldives and India. This afternoon, Prime Minister Modi and I had extensive discussions. We reflected on the successes of our shared development journey, and we charted a clear path for future cooperation. Expanding our cooperation, Prime Minister Modi and I had the honor of witnessing the exchange of 4 MOUs and 3 agreements on several key areas. Among these include a line of credit agreement of $565 million. This LOC will be utilized for priority projects of my government across key sectors including defense, sports, healthcare, education, and housing. I'm also pleased to announce the initiation of negotiations for a free trade agreement between India and the Maldives. This landmark initiative marks a significant step forward in strengthening our economic partnership. We appreciate the pivotal role played by India in supporting the Maldives to manage economic and liquidity challenges through $400 million currency swap facility and interest-free 1-year rollover of the Treasury bill in May 2025. India's continued assistance to the Maldives through the export of essential commodities is a key facet of our bilateral cooperation under the long-standing trade agreement. Today we inaugurated a key project funded under the India's line of credit assistance, Adu Roads project. Prime Minister and I reviewed the progress of ongoing line of credit projects and high-impact community development projects. Our flagship Greater Malé connectivity project, once completed, will stand as a lasting symbol of enduring partnership between the Maldives and India. Later today, Prime Minister and I will be inaugurating Dosimena building, developed with Indian grant assistance. This assistance is a testament to this partnership. I express my sincere appreciation to India for the provision of 72 vehicles to the Maldives National Defence Force. The handover of the remaining 3,300 housing flats from the 4,000 housing units project marks a major step forward in my government's policy in addressing housing needs across the Maldives. I thank the Government of India for its role as the Maldives' principal partner in the health sector. The donation of medical cubes is a critical asset for a geographically dispersed nation like the Maldives. India remains a key source market for Maldivian tourism. We discussed ways to expand this vital sector through enhanced cooperation and connectivity, including commencement of direct flights to further enhance this connectivity. On environmental cooperation, we explored opportunities for technical support in capacity building, in waste management, biodiversity conservation, renewable energy, and water and sanitation. The Maldives will extend its full support for India as the host of COP33. We confidently recognize India's capability to lead global efforts towards a successful and impactful outcome. Our people-to-people connections have long been the foundation of the relationship between the Maldives and India. Through cultural exchanges, tourism, education, and familial bonds, we continue to strengthen mutual understanding and goodwill between our nations. Looking ahead, we are fully committed to further strengthen our cooperation with India across a broad range of sectors through exchange of high-level visits. Prime Minister Modi, I once again thank you for your commitment to enhancing the close ties between the Maldives and India. I wish both our nations continued growth, prosperity and harmony. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. May I now invite Prime Minister Narendra Modi to deliver his remarks.
Your Excellency, राष्ट्रपति जी, दोनों देशों के डेलीगेट्स, मीडिया के साथियों, नमस्कार। सबसे पहले सभी भारतवासियों की ओर से मैं राष्ट्रपति जी और मालदीव के लोगों को स्वतंत्रता के 60 वर्षों की ऐतिहासिक वर्षगांठ पर हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। इस ऐतिहासिक अवसर पर गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर के रूप में आमंत्रित करने के लिए मैं राष्ट्रपति जी का हृदय से आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। इस साल भारत और मालदीव अपने राजनयिक संबंधों के भी 60 साल मना रहे हैं, परंतु हमारे संबंधों की जड़ें इतिहास से भी पुरानी हैं और समुद्र जितनी गहरी है। आज जारी किया गया डाक टिकट, जिसमें दोनों देशों की पारंपरिक नौकाएं हैं, दर्शाता है कि हम केवल पड़ोसी नहीं हैं, सहयात्री भी हैं। फ्रेंड्स, भारत मालदीव का सबसे करीबी पड़ोसी है। मालदीव भारत की नेबरहुड फर्स्ट पॉलिसी और महासागर विजन दोनों में एक अहम स्थान रखता है। भारत को मालदीव का सबसे भरोसेमंद मित्र होने पर भी गर्व है। आपदा हो या महामारी, भारत हमेशा फर्स्ट रिस्पॉन्डर बनकर साथ खड़ा रहा है। एसेंशियल कमोडिटीज उपलब्ध कराने की बात हो या कोविड के बाद अर्थव्यवस्था को संभालना, भारत ने हमेशा साथ मिलकर काम किया है। फॉर अस इट इज ऑलवेज फ्रेंडशिप फर्स्ट।